For those of you that have ever watched HGTV, especially those flip and flop shows, it's important that you understand that remodeling a teardown doesn't change the fact that it's a teardown. The majority of us human beings have been wasting our time trying to remodel something that's limited and that doesn't allow us to fully be comfortable to express the totality of who we are in the first place. Everything that you've been doing to make your suffering more comfortable or manageable. Instead of continuing to invalidate yourself by needing to fix, heal, change, and improve, because that's what you're doing, you're invalidating yourself, how about we start to tap into a more ancient framework, one where we recognize that embracing and accepting and loving who we are actually allows transformation to unfold in our lives, because we're no longer approaching our reality through the lens of this limited individual self. We begin to then be able to tap into this universal self that we are, and we live and we operate from that self. It is the absolute articulation of the cosmic Christ consciousness. And when I use that word, it's not one religion. It's a cosmic consciousness that has been embodied by people from every tradition, from every walk of life, from all over the world. There have been so many illuminated beings who realized their illumination within them. They realized that it was never outside of them. They realized that they couldn't success their way out of suffering, that solving their problem wasn't making more money or 10xing their business. They realized that they actually had to start to work with their design, start to embrace the perfection of it, and recognize that being the way that they are was serving an evolutionary purpose and a role, and they just had to no longer be in opposition to it. In the moment a human being ends their opposition to being themselves, their ego, their limited self is no longer a limitation. A limitation that is accepted is no longer a limitation. A limitation that is embraced is no longer a limitation. Why? Because your energy, your life force, and your prana is no longer getting stuck there. So when you embrace the emotions are no longer dominating your life force energy. When you embrace the mind is no longer dominating your life force energy. And when you accept whatever's happening at the level of the body is no longer dominating the life force energy. And when you accept the fact that you have this fear-based created identity, your ego no longer dominates your life force energy. At that point, the individual once again is reunited with the universal, and the universal begins to flow through the individual. And that is the culmination of both sides of the Jessica Pisces. Basically makes an infinity sign. You go from being finite into being infinite, because you are no longer trying to address what's going on in your life through the limited toolbox and lens of the personality. Instead, you've opened up to source energy and source potential, and you are allowing the answers, the resolutions, the solutions, the alignments to flow through you into this world. And this is how it works. Transformation takes care of itself once you accept the fact that there's nothing to transform. Transformation takes care of itself once you accept the fact that there is nothing to transform. The need for transformation is the greatest illusion of them all.